everyone, welcome back to GK Today. I'm Nuzhat Sana and in this video I'll discuss today's top current and static general studies questions for UPSC Prelims Examination 2022 onwards. And these questions are framed keeping in view both the factual as well as analytical aspects of UPSC Prelims exam. Also, I would like to inform you that these questions are part of GK Today's UPSC Prelims test series, which is available in GK Today Android app. And the test series for 2022 Prelims examination comprises total of 7500 questions, divided 2500 questions on current general studies and 5000 questions on static general studies. And the series has started from May 2021 and it will end with UPSC Prelims Examinations 2022. So if you wish to access all questions of GK Today UPSC Prelims test series, you may subscribe the test series in the app. So now without wasting any further time, let's get started.
So today it is our 10th lecture and now let's start. Question number 1. Which of the following is the first country worldwide to receive the COVID-19 vaccines under the COVAX initiative? First of all, what is COVAX? Or you can say COVID-19 Vaccines Global Access. So basically it is an initiative to ensure equitable access to the COVID vaccines for poorer countries. Actually, COVAX is one of the three pillars of ACT Accelerator. ACT stands for Access to COVID-19 Tool that was launched in April 2020 by World Health Organization, EC, European Commission and France. And what is ACT Accelerator? It is actually framework for collaboration to accelerate the development, production and equitable access to the COVID-19 test, trials and vaccine. So the three pillars which we are talking about are, first is vaccines, that is COVAX, second is therapeutics and third is diagnostic. Okay, now coming back to COVAX, it is led by GAVI Vaccine Alliance, CEPI, that is Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations and World Health Organization. Okay, talking about GAVI, it is an international organization or you can say a global vaccine alliance that was created in the year 2000 and aims to bring together public and private sectors with the shared goal of creating equal access to new and underused vaccines for children living in the world's poorest countries. Okay, and its core partners include World Health Organization, UNICEF, World Bank, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Okay, now talking about CEPI, it is a global partnership that was launched in the year 2017 to develop vaccines to stop future epidemics. And this was founded in Davos, which lies in Switzerland, by the government of Norway and India, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Wellcome Trust and World Economic Forum. Okay. Now coming back to the question, the first vaccine to be authorized by World Health Organization for emergency use listing was the Pfizer RNA vaccine, and Ghana was the first country worldwide to receive the vaccines. Okay. Also do remember that Moldova becomes the first European country to receive the vaccines under this particular initiative. Fine. Now one last thing, why this question has been taken, why it was in news. It is important because SII, that is Serum Institute of India, has received funds from GAVI and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that allowed its supply of COVID-19 vaccines to other poorer countries as part of COVAX facility, and these vaccines were priced at maximum of $3 per dose. Okay, so this was the whole crux of this particular question. Okay, now question number 2, as of 2021, which of the following is are designated the state sponsors of terrorism by United States? First of all, what is this state sponsors of terrorism list? So actually US Secretary of State has been given the powers to designate certain countries into this list for their repetitive support for the terrorism. After which US can place 4 categories of sanctions on these countries. For example, first is restriction on US foreign assistance. Second is ban on defense export and sales. Third is certain control over export of dual use items. And last is miscellaneous type of financial and other restrictions. Okay, now let's see which of the countries comes under this list. First is Iran. So let me tell you, as of 2021, this list consists of 4 countries: Cuba, Iran, North Korea and Syria. Okay, so except these 4 countries, rest gets eliminated. Okay, so yes, Iran is present in this list. Second is Iraq. Actually, Iraq was first listed as a state sponsor of terrorism in the year 1979, and again it was added in 1990 for its alleged support to various terrorist organizations, for example, Mujahideen-e-Khalq, Kurdistan Workers' Party, Abu Nidal Organization and Palestine Liberation Front. So at present it is not in the list. Third is North Korea. It is also in the list, and Syria is also present. So correct answer becomes 1, 3 and 4, option number B. Now talking about some more countries that are important. First is Libya. It was listed in the year 1979 for its support to left-wing militant groups like Palestinian Liberation Organization. But in the year 2006, USA announced its removal from the list. Okay. Then second country is South Yemen. It was also listed in the year 1979 for its support for left-wing militant groups. But after its merger with North Yemen, it was dropped from this list. Then one more country is there. It is Sudan. It was listed in the year 1993 for harboring the likes of Hezbollah and Islamic Jihad. But later on it was removed from the list in the year 2020. So currently these 4 countries are in this list that you have to remember. Okay. Now one more thing. Why we have taken this question? Why it was in news? Because the USA State Department has designated the country Cuba as a state sponsor of terrorism recently for repeatedly providing support for the acts of international terrorism in granting safe harbor to the terrorist. Okay. So that's why this was in news. For example, any country comes out from this list, then what is the benefit for it? For example, let's talk about Sudan. Since it has been out from this list in the year 2020, so now it would rejoin the global economy and would be able to access foreign investment and debt relief from the international financial institutions. Okay, so these are the advantages of getting out from this list. Now next question. With reference to various terms in news related to the international taxation in recent times, consider the following statements. So few terms have been given related to the international tax system, and you have to identify which one of the following statement is correct. Okay. First is Dutch sandwich is a tool of base erosion and profit shifting. First of all, let's understand what is BEPS. So basically it refers to tax planning strategy of shifting profits to low tax jurisdictions used by multinationals. So ultimately it results in erosion of tax base in high jurisdiction. Okay. So BEPS term was in news because the government has ratified the international agreement to curb BEPS as multilateral convention to implement tax treaty related measures, which is a kind of bid of the country and depriving the government of tax revenue. Actually, BEPS is important for the developing countries due to their heavy reliance on corporate income tax, particularly from multinational enterprises, because it is nearly $100 to $240 billion annually. Okay. Now let's understand what is Dutch sandwich. It is actually a BEPS tool used by the multinationals to avoid paying the withholding taxes in the European Union on untaxed profits while being shifted to the tax havens like Bermuda Black Hole. In simple words, we can just say that Dutch sandwich is a tool of base erosion and profit shifting. This is correct. Second statement says Robin Hood tax and Google tax are one and the same thing. For this, we have to understand each of the tax one by one. First, let's understand what is Robin Hood tax. It is actually a proposed tax on financial transactions. And the revenue raised from this tax is to be channeled into public finances. Actually, in simpler terms, you can say it as the Robin Hood tax is a suggested set of taxes on banks and financial transactions, that is buying and selling of shares, bonds, etc. And that would provide money to protect public services and environment and help the poor peoples. Okay. Now, what is Google tax? It is also called as diverted profit tax. Actually, it is a kind of anti-avoidance tax for dealing with the practice of diverting profits to low tax jurisdictions. And it got its name from Google's practice of completing its transactions in Ireland to pay negligible taxes in the UK. Okay. I think Google tax is not clear yet. Let me make some more space for it. See, Google tax made its first appearance in 2016's budget. And any person or entity which makes a payment of more than 1 lakh rupees in a financial year to any non-resident company for some business-to-business services needs to withhold 6% of tax on the gross amount being paid as a Google tax. I think now it's more clear. Basically, the government has put a 6% Google tax on the income accrued to the foreign e-commerce companies which is not a resident of India, and definitely this would affect Google, Amazon, Facebook, etc. Okay. So basically there are two conditions that needs to be applied during Google tax. On Google tax, first is it is applied only to B2B, means business to business services, and not to B2C, means business to consumer services. Second condition is it is applicable to only those companies which have no permanent establishment in India. So I think now it is clear that Robin Hood tax and Google tax are the two different things. These are not the same thing. Okay. So correct answer becomes only one. Now next question. With reference to various dams recently in news, which of the following is our correct statements? So regarding few dams, you have been given 3 statements and you have to now identify which of the following are correct. First is Rattle hydroelectric project is being constructed on Chenab River. So this project is a run of the river dam project being constructed on Chenab River in Kishtwar district of Jammu Kashmir, and it has a 133 meters high gravity dam. Okay, so this is correct. Second statement says both Kishan Ganga and Rattle power projects are in Jammu Kashmir. Already we have seen that Rattle power project is in Kashmir. Talking about Kishan Ganga, this hydroelectric project is another run of river project in Jammu Kashmir, and it is located on the Kishan Ganga river in the Jhelum river basin. Okay, so this is also true. And third statement is Govind Sagar reservoir is formed by Bhakra dam. So Bhakra dam is located on the Satluj river in the state of Himachal Pradesh, and it forms the third largest reservoir in India, that is Govind Sagar reservoir. This is also true. Correct answer becomes D option, that is 1, 2 and 3. Talking about Ram Ganga Dam, this is a part of multi-purpose project for irrigation and hydroelectric power generation. And this dam lies in the state of Uttarakhand, where located on the Ram Ganga river in Jim Corbett National Park. The last question, which of the following industries can produce medical oxygen as a byproduct? So first is steel industry. Steel industry actually produces oxygen in captive oxygen plants for manufacturing steel, oxygen enrichment in blast furnaces, gas cutting, etc. Although these plants produce gaseous oxygen, they can be optimized to produce 5 to 6% liquid oxygen for medical purpose. Okay, this is correct. Second is oil refineries. Oil refineries make use of high purity oxygen at ethylene glycol units, and the refineries add high purity oxygen to the air to help combustion in sulfur recovery units, and also for converting the vacuum gas oil to various products like diesel and petrol in catalytic cracking units. So this is also correct. Third is fertilizer industry. It is also capable of producing medical grade oxygen, and the industry is to provide 50 metric tons of medical oxygen per day. Okay. And last is copper industry. It makes use of oxygen for running their melting plants, and they take in atmospheric air and give out oxygen rich fraction. Okay. So if the purity of the oxygen is increased, it can be used for medical purpose as well. So this is also correct, and the correct answer becomes D option, means 1, 2, 3 and 4. So that's it for today. I hope you have liked the session. If you want to give any feedback, review or suggestion regarding these lectures, you can tell us in the comment section. Definitely we will try to implement that. Okay. So now we will meet again tomorrow with 5 more new and interesting questions. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to subscribe to GK Today. With this, me Nuzhat Sana signing off.